What up, film family? In today's video, we're talking about the Fuji DL-300. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new to this channel, what I like to do is select a camera, load a roll through it, vlog it. In between sharing those shots, I will give my thoughts and experience with that camera. At the end of the video, I will go over my favorite shots, or what I like to call them is my top shots, and then give you those reasons as to why. But here's the camera, the Fuji DL-300. It's closed and that is open. That's also exactly how you turn it on.
Isaiah, look.
Thank you guys again so much for clicking on this video. This is a great moment to take and hit that like button for me if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I post film videos like this every single Monday. Pretty much all I do is vlog my experience with film cameras. I share it with you guys for your benefit. So if you like that, if you respect that, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And back to the video.
So your friends, it's nice to meet them, but I hope I never see them again. I know it breaks your heart. Moved to the city in a broke down car. In 4 years, no calls. Now you look pretty in a hotel bar, and I can't stop. No, I can't stop. So baby, pull me closer in the backseat of your Rover that I know you can afford.
This camera is pretty simple to go over the features. It's just simple as you half press, spot metering in the middle, take your shot. It has flash automatically on. It has an off button right above the screen here. You just tap that off button there and you can turn off the flash. I also just learned shooting this second roll that if I ever want to fill flash when the camera thinks that there's enough light, you just press and hold this button and then press that and flash myself in the face. There's a quick loading feature that's nothing too amazing. You just feed the film through and then drop the film in and then pop it closed. And then that's how you load it. Has a self-timer mode. I don't remember if I used a self-timer on this camera, but it does have a self-timer. But yeah, other than that, this is just a typical point and shoot with a rated 2.8 lens, which is considered a high quality glass. And that's it on features. This is my second vlog with the DL-300. What I did in the first vlog is I shot Fuji film because this is a Fuji camera. Someone commented as well. I was already considering that I was going to shoot Kodak Gold, which is my go-to film, to kind of see the results and see how I feel about this camera. Overall, this camera has a nice build quality. I like the way it feels in my hand, and overall, like going out, being on the street or hanging out with my family, having this, it felt right, it felt good to use. I could use the word, it was fun. Happy with the ease of this camera. I have a camera bag sometimes, or I just have it in my back pocket. I just pop it out, slide open, focus on whatever it is I want to shoot, take that shot, and then move on. I mean, it's easier to use than, let's say, like a Contax T2 or a Yashica, where you have to slide here and then wait for the lens to come out. On this camera, you just open and it's ready to go, similar to the Olympus Muse. I want to give it its flowers for that aspect, for sure.
Woke up in the morning with a headache. Working on my hours, gotta get paid. Bitches sour sweet like lemonade. Swear I was playing with my toys like the other day. Girl is looking hot, she on display. Mix in the pan, wait, then I flip it, ayy. Asking hella questions, you a survey. You not really helping, just get out of my way. I'm cruising. Can't see me through my glass, can't see me through my pain. Windows tinted. I've been filling up my gas, I've been feeling down lane. I'm blooming. All I gotta do is ask, girl, on my cable game. On demand. Mama drive 8 class, mama drive 8 class. Mama always fly to Mexico, but never first class. Wasn't really feeling it, so I skipped class. Wanna throw it back, tears and just kick back. Bet that I won't on some click clack. Sorry to spoil your bitch, but I hit that. Read the Bible on my own time, I know sin's bad. I know I'm fat, at least my bitch bad.
My opinion on the lens is that it is soft, so it maybe has like a light contrast, not a strong contrast. I only found one image where I really feel like it was a sharp image. Maybe this is just how the Fuji made this lens to be. With that being said, I still have some top photos that I'm gonna go over, but stay tuned for that.
But never first class, wasn't really feeling it, so I skipped class. Wanna throw it back, tears and just kick back. Bet that I won't on some click clack. Sorry to spoil your but I hit that. Read the Bible on my own time, I know sin's bad. I know I'm fat, at least my bitch bad. Have you been on drugs? Have you been in love? I would say it's the same thing. I would say it's the same. Have you been on drugs? Have you been?
My first top photo on the DL-300 is this picture here of my nieces. This is just a really cute moment. I sat them up there because one of them was complaining about how they had sand in their boot. We untied their shoe and we emptied their boot, and of course when the other one saw one was sitting up there, the other one quickly wanted to be back on there. So I put them up on this high wall and I took this photo of them. It's just a great photo. I think that the sun kind of hitting them on the side of the face, kind of how like this video is hitting me right here in the face, it gives it a good idea of like where the light's coming from. I didn't use any backlit or fill-in feature. I feel like the camera does a good job exposing this correctly. And when I took this shot, I was kind of hoping for like an f4 or f2.8, but it does seem like this camera used, I would say, like an f8 f-stop on this shot. The background is in a lot more focused than I would want it to be. Since the background is kind of far from them and the wall is kind of high, it still makes it a strong photo and the focus is still on them. It's a well taken shot, it's well composed, and it's lit well enough to know what the subject is, and you're instantly drawn into their faces and you see their smiles, and it's just a great photo. This other photo that I like here is of this, I don't know, it's an expensive car, of this really expensive car, but I really liked how it had a red interior. And I usually take like pictures of the steering wheel. I really like the seats, classic, very expensive car. I like how it turned out overall. I wasn't really expecting or a huge fan of the reflection that you get from the window. I definitely thought that it was going to be good enough to focus straight on to the seats there and then only capture the seats, but I like this photo more than I do of the photo that I took of the front of it. So my other top photos are this older classic kind of looking Dodge Ram, and then also the Jeep. I took one right after the other. I ended up just changing locations, and I saw a car, and I even composed them the same. I like the look of the Dodge Ram a lot, and then I like how there's a person just on their lunch break sitting there and just kind of taking their break, enjoying their time off until they gotta go back to their shift. And I like the way the sun was kind of hitting it strong in the back, giving that strong shadow, and that's what drew me into taking this shot. And then on the Jeep photo, same thing. What drew me into this photo was obviously the big yellow car. It was parked and it was kind of right in front of this dog park. It makes it seem more like a jungle style or hike than a dog park. I really like how they had recently gotten the car dirty, so you can kind of see the mud on there. So when I took this picture, I thought that I'm gonna half press on that Jeep door and then get this really strong photo of the door and the mud. Ultimately, both of these photos, the Jeep and the Dodge Ram photos, I really like the photos more because of the subject matter than of the overall quality of the image, I guess I could say. This is where we want to depend on our camera and make a strong image. So we see it, we capture it, we just expect a stronger photo than I got from this. I'll talk about it later, what my overall closing thoughts, but yeah. Alright, so my last top photo is of this couple sitting there, and I actually asked for permission, so I was like, hey, you guys can just stay kind of how you are. Is it okay if I capture a picture with you guys in the frame? And they said, yeah, sure, whatever. But yeah, they're kind of just got the scenic view. All the way back there, you can see San Francisco skyline, but this is a dock that I often go to on my lunch break. Not as sharp as I would want it to be, but it's definitely sharper than a lot of the other images that I have. But again, it's more subject matter and what's going on in the image that I put in the frame that I like about it, and the way I composed it over the camera. Okay, and I'll talk real quick about this photo. It's not like really a top photo, but the sharpest image that I got here is of that dock where that couple was sitting and enjoying their lunch. I took the picture, I focused on the birds there, but the dock is in focus, the birds are in focus, even that spike there is in focus. So overall, that is the sharpest photo that I got out of this whole roll of 36 exposures. So now quickly, I want to talk about how I'm pretty unhappy with most of the images of how they're focusing. This is an example right here. This is a gentleman and his dog. I was hoping to capture just as he was finishing walking through the sun, capture the image of him. I thought this would be an interesting image. And what I ended up doing is running to the subject. I myself stopped. I half pressed on him and then I shot this photo. My whole thing is that it's not in focus. I'm just not happy with overall how this photo came out. I feel like it should have been able to freeze him and make a strong image out of it. So this is a photo of my brother and my nephew here. It's not the best photo that I've ever taken, but I just wanted to use this as an example that if I would have took this photo with the Yashica T4, even the Yashica T, which has the same exact lens, these images would just feel stronger. And I'll do a comparison video. I strongly believe that the Yashica T4, the Contax T2 would have made this image a lot more interesting than it is. I feel like it would have done better maybe exposing my brother's face, because I ended up focusing on my brother and then recomposing to get my nephew in it. I just feel like those cameras would have made this photo a lot more interesting than this. Even my Canon Sure Shot, I feel like would have gave me a more interesting photo than this. This is what I'm so frustrated, because I wanted to love this camera. This had the potential to impress me a lot more than it did in this video. This did not hold up to my expectation. Those are my closing thoughts on the Fujifilm DL-300. I am sorry to everyone who wanted to love this camera like me, but I don't love it at the moment. Second vlog with it, and I am not in love with it. That's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button for me if you found this video beneficial at all to you. And as always, guys, happy shooting.